Right, ladies, we will get started. So thank you for giving up your Sunday hour this morning. Pelvic floor and your core is the workshop. So I'm going to explain some of the symptoms that a lot of women and men struggle with. So please pass this information on to your partners as well. How many of you here struggle with leakage or problems when you are exercising? Yeah? How many of you think that it's just something to accept because of our age or because we're going through the menopause or because you've had kids? Yeah. It is something that's uncomfortable to talk about for a lot of women and to share, especially for men as well. So a couple of the things that we will go through is one, it's not normal and it's not something for us to accept. There are things that we can do. Sometimes what I'm going to show you today isn't enough, so you will be better off going to your GP and being referred to a physical therapist that can actually give you hands-on tools and tips to help strengthen up your pelvic floor and assess what's going on. I will be hitting on some of the causes and things that you can do to limit leakage and the issues that we have. Improving your lifestyle is one. But if you've got any questions as I go through it, please ask. Does everybody understand what the pelvic floor is, what it consists of? It's okay to say no because this is the whole point of the workshop. Yeah? So the pelvic floor is a series of muscles that sit inside our hip structure, okay? It's not just the muscles that we use in order to stop weeing or pooing, so I'm sure you can all understand what that means. If, you know, you're getting out of the car, you need a wee, try and hold it in, running up the stairs, same for a poo. These muscles kind of sit at the bottom. Your pelvic floor is also a bigger structure, so it includes your abdominal core, so a big structure here which creates a corset. A lot of the times problems will arise because as women we hold ourselves in. By that I mean we try and give ourselves a flat stomach, so we're sucking it all in. We are creating tension, not just in these muscles but in the muscles that sit around the front of our tummy. Okay? Sometimes that is not always good, so you can have a strong core but it's also working too hard, which means you need to learn to relax it. Okay? So alongside the pelvic floor, it's also connective tissues in our hip structure. Okay? As I've said at the start, peeing when we don't want to is not normal, but it does happen. Tell a lady. Okay? There are a few of us here because I'm a gym owner, skipping, box jumps. Somebody found that out the other day. Even running. Yeah, lifting. So what that means is you are putting too much pressure on your whole core and it's causing that leakage to happen. Okay? When we can't control that urination or pooing, then it's time to do something about it, hence why you're all here. Okay? Weak pelvic floor, as I said, it can also be tight pelvic floor. That doesn't mean it's weak. It's just working too hard. You need to learn to relax it. Symptoms of a weak pelvic floor would be leaking, constipation, or passing skinny poos, painful sex, or just pain generally down in the pelvic area, inability to have an orgasm for ladies, erectile dysfunction for men, and then we've got leakage after you've gone for a wee, so you never fully feel like you can empty your bladder. Okay, it's one thing a lot of men will struggle with as well because it's empty, but they're still leaking after passing urine. Anybody suffer with any of those apart from like the leaking? Is all that making sense in terms of weak pelvic floor and what to look out for? Yeah? So there's several types of incontinence. These are just 4. There are a couple of others because you can have a mixture of these. So we've got stress incontinence, which is what happens when we laugh, cough, sneeze, work out. Okay? Then we've got urge incontinence. So this is where you feel like you need to go to the toilet no matter what. It's that when you've been driving, it's extreme. It's that all the time. Okay? So a sudden urge to wee outside of, you've just been to the toilet, but you've got that urgency to go again. It can get extreme when you hit perimenopause because of the impact estrogen has on our bodies. Overflow, so this is just leakage after you've actually been to the toilet, so never fully emptying your bladder. And then we've got total incontinence, which is you cannot hold in any urine or feces. Okay. Then we've got, as I said, mixed, so it could be a combination of all of these. And I'm not a pelvic floor specialist, so I'm not going to go further into this detail. Stress incontinence is the main one that I want to talk about with you ladies. If you do have any of the others, please go and speak to your GP. And if you're not on HRT, maybe consider that if you are of a perimenopause age, okay? Any questions on these? No? Moving through this quickly. So why does this happen? Could be many things. Could be surgery. Could be injuries to your pelvic floor area. That could be done through exercise. Can be done through intercourse. Can be done through surgical interventions. Smoking. Being overweight. So if we've got excess fat, that puts pressure on all the organs and on your pelvic floor because it's trying to hold everything together. It is a support structure. Age, again, going back to perimenopause and hormones, estrogen is needed in order to help muscles function their best. And once that starts to decrease, we then have problems. Tumours, prolapse, again, as women, lots of things can happen. This is where your uterus wall and the muscles inside start to pop out, but you can also have parts of the bowel that come through the wall of the vagina as well, which is not very pleasant at all. Childbirth, again, stretching puts a lot of demand onto that pelvic floor structure. Any questions on this one? No? This is going quick. Okay, so how to prevent it or improve it, because obviously we are all struggling with it at the moment in one way or another. None of us want to. I don't want to be purchasing Tender Lady and having to walk around with that. So we're going to get to work. What I want you all to do now, because we're going to go through breathing, I'm going to explain how to do Kegel exercises. I might ask you all how you think you should do them. And then we're going to do core work by putting all of these together. How do you all breathe? If you sit here right now, do you feel your chest rising or your belly? Yeah, a lot of people will breathe through their chest. What I want you all to do now is if you can all just stand up, please. And I want you to relax from your navel all the way down. I just want you to let your belly relax. I want you to feel all that pressure here just fade away. How many of you are actually like holding it in? Yeah, I naturally hold it in, so I suck my belly in. It's just something that happens, yeah? When we learn to relax it, that is the first step to strengthening your pelvic floor muscles. If we're consciously always walking around, holding it in to give ourselves the illusion of a flat tummy, we are working those muscles really, really hard because it's trying to pull us in. When we learn to relax, you will get that natural little pout, which is normal. I've got one, yeah? Everybody's got one. So that is the first step. You can sit down. Okay? What I want you to do next is I want you to get one hand and place your hand on your belly. And then I want you to place a hand on your chest. And I just want you to take 5 deep breaths. Just take 5 deep breaths. This is really just try not to pay attention to it because what you do naturally is what you're going to do all day. So how many of you were just feeling the chest moving and nothing really down in the belly area? Yeah. Breathe in through the belly. You ladies?
I was a bit of both.
Bit of both, yeah. Is that because of what I've just mentioned though? Yeah. Pay attention to this because you will anyway. Pay attention during the day. Are you breathing up through the upper chest? Usually if we talk a lot, it'll all be through the shoulders and you'll just feel your shoulders rise and the chest go, and it's always through here. You probably feel really stressed as well when you do that. When we learn to breathe through our belly, it naturally relaxes us because we are taking in air through the diaphragm as we should, so it's expanding. Think of blowing up a balloon. It fills it from the bottom first and then goes out to the top. That's how your diaphragm works as well. I have got links at the end so you can kind of YouTube belly breathing, and everybody on the list will get a link to those as well. So don't worry about remembering all this. I will give you how-to videos. We're going to go through some proper belly breathing drills just so you can really feel what it's like to breathe through your belly, fully fill up your diaphragm and work the core. Kegels. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, so normally we'll just kind of tighten it all in as if you need a wee or a poo. I can pretty much guarantee whilst you do that, you're all holding your breath as well, and you're just breathing in, holding in. Anybody do it any differently to that? Does anybody do that? Yeah?
I have had physio.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It's difficult. I just tried to do it then and you
Yeah. So for those that have been to a therapist or been told by a midwife, the idea is you breathe through your belly. Okay, so you've got to relax first. That means you're not holding it in. You have to relax. That is the first step. Then you take a nice deep breath in, so it's through the belly. Then you squeeze, and then you exhale whilst you're holding. That is the hardest bit. You'll either panic because it's like, oh my God, it's weak, and then your chest engages and you just create tension throughout the whole body. So we're going to spend quite a bit of time just making sure you all get it and you are actually working the proper muscles. My partner's drawn a really good diagram. So you can all like see it in your minds and know what you should actually be doing rather than just trying to squeeze everything, because what we don't want to do is squeeze the butt cheeks and just suck it all in. That's not the best way to do your Kegel exercises. It will be hard to start with if none of you are used to doing it, but daily practice, you should all be doing it daily. I don't, but we should. You will get stronger and you'll be able to do it for longer periods of time. I've also got a QR code to link you to other directions. So once you do get into a routine of doing this, you can do quick pauses and holds, and then you can do longer ones because we do want to get to a point where we can mix it up. Okay? Then we're going to move on to actually working the core properly, because if any of you go to the gym, I'm sure every woman wants a nice six-pack and a strong core and to look good. But there's so many other ways that you can work your core without having to do 100 sit-ups a day and hurting your neck and just throwing yourself around. Okay? Everybody okay with that so far? Okay. I was like, babe, can you just draw this? I did the first one. I thought that was pretty good for a line diagram. So, your core, this is what I was talking about earlier. This muscle here, so the transversus abdominis, is basically our natural corset. So when we are looking to work our core and work our pelvic floor, they work together. Okay, when we do our breathing drills correctly, one, we are engaging these muscles, and then two, when we do the Kegel, the pelvic floor is working. It doesn't work often in isolation. We can work it together. So sucking yourself in, all this is working too hard. We're sucking down here. It's creating too much tightness. We are contracting and shortening those muscles for a very long period of time. Muscles don't like that. We need to relax them. Okay, so hopefully you're all relaxing and just letting that belly flop out. your pelvic floor, so this little sling structure here that is holding in your uterus, your bladder, all those sexy organs, your intestines, yeah? It needs you to help it. It's not just going to do all the work for us, which is why we end up suffering, because we either make it too tight or it's weakened through injury and pregnancy and it can't do what its proper job. I want you to ignore these muscles here for now, because when we're working our pelvic floor, I want you to focus on these two, and I want you to just imagine, a bit weird, but like hands, thumb and finger, yeah? So when we're doing Kegel exercises, if you're sat there nicely, if you can uncross your legs. What I want you to do is take a nice deep breath. So relax first, let it all relax. Take a deep breath and try and fill out through the belly first. So just nice deep breath. Then what I want you to do is imagine these two just down in the vaginal area, pulling together. So you're just creating that little clamp. If you need a tool to help you at home, just roll up a little t-shirt or towel and just place it there. And then just imagine you're trying to clasp that towel and exhale through your mouth like you're blowing out candles. Yeah, and you should be holding it at that point. And that's the point where a lot of women struggle, because we just relax everything. This is going to take a lot of time. Okay, so nice deep breath and relax. And then I want you to squeeze that pelvic floor without squeezing your butt cheeks, and blow out and hold it. Hard. It might feel like it's doing this. Yeah, you're trying to hold, but it's almost like we need to let go, because we're not used to connecting with these muscles and doing what we should be doing. Okay, we're going to do this for about 5 minutes. So hopefully by the end of it, you will be able to feel like you are doing your Kegels better and make improvements from there. Okay, so relax your hands, relax the belly. Nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, squeeze those muscles. Try not to squeeze the glutes. Relax. Hard. It is hard because you may feel tension. So one thing that could happen is you start to lift your shoulders because you're so busy trying to do this. We're getting a bit stressed about it. Yeah. So this time I want you to take another nice deep breath. Make sure this is relaxed. You shouldn't be squeezing right now. And then squeeze and exhale. I'm so going to improve this breathing and stuff. So on the exhale, yeah. But we want to naturally release when we breathe in. Because if we're holding it in, we're not allowing the diaphragm to fully fill up. And the diaphragm kind of sits through here and at the top. So it's not just like at the top here, it's a big muscle. Okay, so when we inhale, the diaphragm is expanding and filling up through the top. Okay. So nice deep breath again. Just relax everything first. Breathe in, filling out through the belly. Then squeeze and hold. Yeah. So if we start with just holding in a wee. So if you think about, I want to hold in a wee. That's sometimes the easiest step for you all to do. Okay. All these muscles will be working together. So we've got like all these little muscles here and work in isolation. So we can hold in a wee, we can hold in a poo, we can hold both in together. And it is just taking some time to learn to isolate those little muscles and then work them all together. What I don't want you to be doing right now is physically squeezing through the glutes, because that's another thing we can do. We'll almost like squeeze our butt cheeks to try and hold all that in. So Let's break it down into 2 bits. Take a deep breath in and then focus on holding in a wee as you exhale. In the second breath, take a nice deep breath in and focus on holding in a poo. And then on the third breath, both together. And it should almost feel like you are sucking up. So a lot of physical therapists will maybe say, imagine you are trying to suck up your tampon and hold that in. So you're drawing up through. I don't want to say imagine you're sucking a straw, but if you've ever seen the Thai ladies, you are physically trying to hold something. There is a crazy woman, actually. She does Kegel exercises and she puts weights. So she has an egg and a weight through a vagina and she holds kettlebells. That's a bit extreme, but if you want better orgasms, it might be something to consider. But it's the thing, a lot of people will take it to the extreme. You can get tools, so you can get like eggs, and they do specialist like vibrator type tools. So again, it's not always for sexual pleasure. It is a tool to help us work these muscles, because a lot of us will need that sensation of physically holding something in. Okay? The stronger you can pull up, great. It might not feel like that for a lot of women that haven't got the strength there or the mind muscle connection. So it might not even feel like you're doing anything. You're just holding in a wee. When you get better at it and it becomes stronger, you will physically feel like you are holding and sucking something in. It's almost like you can feel all these muscles tighten together. Yeah? Yeah, so as you exhale, you are holding that Kegel exercise. And it's important that you try and take a long, slow exhale, not just go, you might pass out. You will hyperventilate if you do that. So you do need to be relaxed and breathe in and relax. Pardon? Yeah, you're trying to hold it. So as we exhale, this is why I said it's really hard. As we exhale, we are holding that muscle tension. We are trying to contract and hold or suck something up as we exhale. What a lot of you may find you do is you end up tightening these muscles and you suck in through the lower belly. Don't want you to do that right now, because these muscles are likely to be working too much, which is creating a lot more pressure down here, which is causing those little leakage. So it's back to stress incontinence. I do joke about it with my partner, because it's like I'm going to sneeze and I'm like, if I need a wee, it's game over. It's game over. Okay. Yep. So you shouldn't feel it in your back. If you're feeling it in your back, you are engaging all these muscles. So you're kind of holding, you're still working here. Yeah. Which will make sense when we do the core work, because when we properly engage these muscles, you will feel it in your lower back. And when we do exercise, that's kind of what you want to do, because it's going to protect your spine. But for the Kegel exercises, just try and keep all this out of it and just focus on holding in a wee, working these muscles here, holding in a poo, or both together. Yeah, we will break this up and we'll just, right, I'll go ladies, right, I want you to hold in a wee, take a breath, hold in a poo, take a breath, hold both. Yeah? Any questions from this bit? Because this is really, really hard. And it is going to take some practice, but I've got a link for an NHS video. It is a great pelvic floor Kegel exercise video, because they break this down and they're saying what I'm saying. It's really important that you learn the breathing part of it, because that is going to help you massively. How many of you are holding your Kegels right now? Yeah. So what I want you all to do is I'll get you all to get a mat, and I'm going to get you to lay on the floor, and we're going to go through the breathing drills. We'll set that with some Kegel work, and then we'll setting some ab work. Yeah, you won't be doing much movement, but hopefully you will kind of get, okay, there's a big difference between holding it in and doing my Kegels and relaxing and feeling the benefit. Yeah? Has anybody got any questions from what I've said so far? Because it is a lot, and I know it might have just gone straight over your heads. So you're doing both together? Yeah. So it might just take you some time. So one thing that you could do is when you go to the toilet, just try and hold a wee. It is a hard thing to do because we will just try and squeeze everything. And it will take a little bit of time and sort of awareness in a space where you can kind of just really focus on it. The biggest thing I can say is when you focus on the breathing and you're tuning into what you're feeling in your body, you will start to feel, actually, yeah, that is just a small movement, just holding in, holding a wee, versus holding in a poo. Usually when you go to hold in a poo, you'll kind of squeeze all those muscles because they're connected here. So this is one structure here, and then we've got this one here, okay? So we've got holding in a poo, holding in a wee, and they are going to join because it's all those muscles there. When we do the Kegels, we also want to engage these, which is why I said imagine a hand and you're just trying to grab a towel or squeeze it both in because you're going to pull these muscles in as well. Yeah. It will take some time and it will take dedicated practice. Don't spend more than 3 to 5 minutes doing it, otherwise you can drive yourself insane. And if you look like you're doing it, so if you're stood at a checkout, you can do your Kegels. But if you're like this, like you know, sometimes it's hard to do because you're just like, I'm holding it. When you do it correctly, nobody should be aware that you're doing it. Pretty much throughout this talk, I've been engaging it at some point because I'm like, oh, it feels so weird. To go between the two, and it's when you're relaxed, it's so much easier. Yeah. What I want you ladies to do, there's some mats there and mats there. Yeah, clearly they've not seen the sign on the door, so I will just go and tell them. I'll get it. So mats on the wall, and then just place yourself anywhere. Hiya. Oh, you're late, darling. You've just missed the best bit. But we've got the core work. Oh, you should have just brought him. Oh, sorry, I've been filming it. It's fine. I'll send you the video because you've literally just missed me talking about the muscles and all that. So we've just gone over the Kegel stuff. So we're now doing like the practical side. Okay. I'll send you the first half of the video. It's all right.